So today we are going to go over 30 different Mario themed box arts. I have picked stuff from lots of different regions. Are you ready to show off your graphic design skills? As everyone knows, both of us are professional graphic designers and marketers.
It's genuinely the best way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what you mean by themed, Mario themed box art.
Yes, it is. Well,
let's see what's going on here.
It's all Mario games. I wanted to start with something really, really crazy here. So our first one, Super Mario Bros. 1 on the NES. This one's pretty nuts.
Ooh.
See, we got Mario.
Yeah.
He's jumping. He's actually about to die. Like, he's literally, there's lava right there. He's throwing a fireball through a brick. Is this a good box art? Like, everyone knows what it is. I think it's very, very iconic nowadays, but has it held up today? Is this something that Nintendo could sell if they really wanted to sell it, like on a store?
Well, firstly, I think this is one of the instances where Nintendo is lying to us. I think I remember there was like some silly video where like Miyamoto, and he wasn't even talking. He was like just giving like nods and head nods, all that stuff. Miyamoto like debunks Mario myths. And it was like, who's Bowser Jr.'s mom? Is Mario 3 a stage play? And then I think another one was, is Mario dying on the Mario 1 box art? And he said no. But
I don't agree.
What are we seeing here?
I don't agree at all.
Here?
Yeah, no, that's literally
I think
lava.
He might have been thinking of the Japanese box art where it's just Mario jumping and it's like it's an illustration. Yeah. Also, like his fireball is going through the bricks.
Doesn't make any sense.
This is just an odd screenshot. Like Mario is Fire Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Into lava, going against brick. Even the Japanese box art, the original one, it has its own funk to it, but it does still have kind of like that kind of classic Mario style. That style was pretty much good to go from the start. Obviously, like the proportions of all the characters on the Japanese box art is kind of weird, and Bowser is like some kind of ox thing. I think Peach looks weird on that box art, but like, I mean, that at least does a better job showcasing what the game is. I think this is just in that weird, like, all NES games had to follow this black box style. So
I'm so glad that they've gone away from this, like, because it was not even just NES. If you go back to like Atari 2600 games, the backgrounds are just like this putrid, like green or yellow or brown color, and they have like one image of the game. It kind of blends well because this is a Bowser level, so like the background's already black in the game itself. So B tier?
B tier? B tier, I think that's a little high. I think that's kind of more so based on the iconography, like it is an iconic box art. Overall, when we look at this, I mean, like, have we ever thought about it? 30% of the box is
just black.
Is an image.
Yeah. That's why I'm considering B, because it is very iconic, but I would also be okay with C. You know what, for now, let's throw it into C, because I did actually pick some pretty bizarre box art. There's going to be maybe even ones that you've never seen before, because when I was looking into all the different boxes of Mario titles and all the different regions, there is some weird stuff out there. So next, we have Mario's Picross, but it is the European version. I gotta say, I love the art. The art is great. I think Mario looks awesome. Does this have anything to do with Picross, though? No.
Does Mario have anything to do with Picross in general? I mean, like, this
not really. No.
I mean, like, is the North American box art much better? It's just Mario's eyes.
It's just like his face, and that's it. Yeah.
But at least that kind of implies to you that like it isn't gonna be like a typical Mario game. This is literally just Mario's face. To be honest, this kind of has a similar vibe. Like, you could look at this and be like, you could expect a similar experience to something like Mario 3 or something, just because like, oh yeah, Mario's on the cover, and you know, like, that's it. I mean, like, you have the numbers around his head.
Yeah, that's funny, but I'm even just noticing that.
You can barely see him, yeah.
Yeah, like the 0 is like really hiding behind him, and then they add like a 6 right behind Mario's. Like, the only clear number is 7.
Hell, I mean, like, that 0 could be a 9 for all I know.
Okay, here's the thing. Even though it really doesn't tell you at all that this is a Picross game, I just think it looks awesome. It's very clean. It still looks great. And maybe I'd put it in like B tier just because I like the art. Again, has nothing to do with Picross, but like, also this, I would buy this because I'd be like, oh, look at that. It's Mario. He's wearing an explorer hat. He's thinking about something.
You're gonna be so disappointed when you play the game.
It'll be nothing like this.
There's barely any Mario puzzles in the game, let alone like anything. Like, here's the thing. To me, this box art looks like it's a cropped image. It should be far bigger than it is. It looks like they're hiding something.
Hold on a second. You know what I'm just realizing? Look at these yellow squares. This is the same squares in the game, right? Because it's just a bunch of box puzzles.
What are we doing here? Because like, okay, the boxes are meant to represent the dots on the I, but then it's randomly above the O too.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
I think this looks like a super zoomed in piece of art where it should be more zoomed out, or like hieroglyphics or whatever, you know, like, because like that's kind of the whole idea of like, why is Mario in kind of this costume? Because he's, you know, like looking through all of these like stone carvings or whatever, you know, and that's the whole idea behind like that's I guess the story behind why is it Mario's Picross. Yeah. I think this is borderline false advertising. It's not, but it's also like, what are we doing here, man?
It kind of is. Okay, I want to put it. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put it in B because I like the art.
Jeez.
All right, I got to do it. I'm sorry. I love the art. Whatever. We're putting it in B. Maybe we'll look at it later. Maybe we'll find something better, but for now, I think it's fantastic art. It's got to go in B just for that.
That's currently the best box art we have seen today so far.
Well, hey, it might get better. Let's see what number 3 is. Super Mario 64. It is the classic North American version. Now, for me, this is like an easy S tier. It's just so iconic. It doesn't necessarily show that it's a 3D platformer, but it does show that Mario can fly in the game. You know, he's got his wing cap on. You can see the castle in the background, which of course, you know, everyone plays the majority of Mario 64 in Peach's castle. It's got big old Goomba. Well, I guess like in a sense, it does kind of show it is a 3D platformer because he's flying towards like a big like globe. So I guess there's that, right?
World behind him.
Yeah, and I just like everything's composed. Everything's composed really nicely too.
You know, it's weird. It's funny how they love showing off the flying power-ups in these box arts. Mario 3 and then Mario 64, they show the wing cap, which also isn't like the biggest part of Mario 64. It's there. But it's like you know, they really like showing off the flying power-ups in these box arts. And because I think like that's just such an impactful thing on the box arts, is seeing like, wow, you can fly in the game, even though they've done that like multiple times at this point.
Yeah, I think it's just the sense of flying really creates like a adventurous feeling, because like, yeah, sure, you can fly in a bunch of Mario games at this point, but you know, I think like initially just looking at like you know, Mario flying through, it really just creates that sense of like, oh, okay, I can kind of just go wherever I want. I think that's kind of like what they're going for.
And you know what I also realized here? I never saw this. How you have these realistic ass clouds on Mario 64's box art.
It's very, very 90s. Like, if you look at like 50% of 90s box art, it's going to have these weird, like realistic elements blended in with like the 3D and 2D characters.
And you see Peach's castle in the background, even if it doesn't look like how it does in the actual game, like it's kind of weird and warped in this box art, I guess.
I don't think it actually, if you really look at the structure of the castle, it's pretty accurate.
I mean, it is
definitely like, warped for sure.
I think at the very least I think you can critique it to no end, but it's also like, it's not a bad box art. At the very least, I think it's a solid box art. At the very best, it's one of the most iconic box arts of all time. So it's just like, I think at the very least, I think an A.
I would say A to S, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
You know, no, let's just throw it on S for now. I don't know how many S's we're gonna find. To be quite honest, I found some weird stuff. But speaking of Mario 64, let's go to its remake. But it's not the traditional box art we're used to seeing. This is the Japanese version of Super Mario 64 DS, and I have always thought this looks absolutely horrible. First off, you got Yoshi and Luigi blending in with the grass. You can barely see them, and every character is way too small. Like I kind of like the idea of the camera being like up top, kind of looking at everybody, but there's no focus. Like the only focus, I guess, is the logo. Like sure, you can kind of see the logo kind of up front, but everything else is just kind of there. I've always thought this box art looks pretty bad.
I mean, I don't even think the North American one is great either. It's like
it's better than this. It's better than this.
It is better. This one makes it look like, honestly, I think for some reason whenever I've seen this box art, I've gotten the vibe that it's like this looks like it's supposed to be for like an RTS or something. Like it's supposed to be like this this game where you're controlling little mini like a super overhead camera. It doesn't portray what it is at all. And like also I think it's so weird that every piece of like marketing material for Mario 64 DS really hammers in the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is such a small side mode in the game.
Yeah, it really doesn't mean much.
Not even very good. It is so broken. That multiplayer doesn't work very well. It's cute, but like it is literally like, 2-minute long battle for power stars, and like, you know, like that's all it is. And you can just, you know, punch somebody, the power star comes out. And then you get the power star, and then this whole animation plays where, you know, you do the whole like, I got the star, but then that gives the other player a chance to just walk right up to you while you're locked in the animation and just wait for you to get out of the animation to punch you, and then the power star comes out. It's a weird thing to focus on here, especially at this camera angle.
Yeah, I think
it doesn't look like Mario 64.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't really look like the game. And even like this yellow pipe, I don't even know if there is a yellow pipe in Mario 64 DS. Like there might be like one.
I think you throw this one in D. I mean, like I
think
like
it's a D.
I think I can commend that they're trying to do something different here. I just don't really think it's more of like a cute like piece of artwork that they release alongside the game, not the full-blown box art. You know?
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. Like when I look at this box art, especially when it's kind of smaller, I just imagine like going into a store and it just looks like green. Like I like the characters are just way too small. That's like my biggest problem with it. If the characters weren't so small, then honestly it might be okay.
Cute idea. Yeah. Cute idea. I can commend them for doing something different. That's about it.
Great idea, poor execution. But here we have I wanted to go to our first Wii U game. So I know we're all excited about this. Here we go, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash.
The OG box art. That was the temp box art.
So this actually is the box art from Spain. Specifically.
God, awful D.
It's a D.
So like this game isn't good.
I kind of like this box art. I think it's
just
okay.
like Mario.
True, that's true. No, I like the, does it really convey what the game is at all? No, not at all. But hey, it looks cool.
It could be for literally any Mario Tennis game. Any
yes,
Mario
but
Tennis game.
It is a cool
pose. At the very
pose.
least.
It's a cool pose. I love the pose. You know, just seeing like action shots like this, I think is always really exciting. It makes the game look way more exciting than it actually is. This is probably the most hype thing about the entire game is this box art.
No. The North American box art gives you all of what you just said, and it looks and is so much, it's structured so much better. Like it's literally like, and at the very least, like, okay, here's the thing. All the box arts for this game barely show you anything unique other than the fact that like the North American box art, Mario is, you know, the way the camera is, Mario is super big up in the air. And like, I don't think he's in his Mega Mushroom mode, which I guess is the main gimmick of this game.
I guess,
at the very least, you could make the argument like, oh, well, he's very large in this box art, so like, that could be it.
Maybe?
And I do like that. I do like how most Nintendo first-party games on Wii U did something where you had an overlapping thing with the Wii U border. So on Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, you know, the tennis racket's overlapping. Here, I mean, they could have done something where his foot's overlapping. Like, that would have at least been, like, more, like, interesting. Like, it just would have pulled things together a lot more.
You know, actually, the more I look at this pose, the more I kind of hate it. Because, like, the way his elbow is turned... You just said you think it's cool. I do think it's cool, but he looks a little awkward the way he's hitting it. He's, like, twisting his elbow, and he's... I've never hit a tennis ball like that before.
Well, I mean, like I've never jumped up in the air when playing tennis like this.
No,
Like,
me neither.
but I remember this box art. This was like the E3 2015 when like they just put out temp box arts, you know, and this felt like they just took the promotional artwork for the game and just slapped it on a Wii U template box, and it became the official box art in Spain. For some reason, I don't know why they would do that, but
I don't know either.
I think that goes in D. I don't like it. It's just like you could do so many more interesting things. Even for a game as boring and lifeless as Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, the official North American box, or just the official box in most regions, is so much more interesting than this. Most of this is a blue sky in the background, and I don't know. I would personally put it in D tier.
Okay, you've kind of
one we've seen so far.
I think Mario 64 DS is way worse, but
No.
definitely...
That's at least interesting. That there was some artistic integrity behind that. There was some artistic integrity. They came up with an idea. They went with it. It didn't work very well, but you can at least appreciate it as like an art piece per se. That's just slop. That's slop.
You have convinced me to some extent. I will give it a high, the highest D possible.
Why am I even here?
I will tell you why we're here, because I think all of us want to know what you think about Switch 2 box art. At least for me, one of my favorite videos of yours is the that box art one where you go over like all of that stuff. So I want to show you just a Switch 2 box, and let me know what you think of it. This is Mario Kart World. I think this is fantastic art. I think it's composed really, really good. The box itself, though, a lot of people have already said this, but I think they're showing way too much red on the top. It feels like it's chewing up way more space than it needs to, and I get why they're doing it. They really want to differentiate the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 games. Even like the box itself is slightly bigger than a Switch 1 box, so I get the reason for that, but it does feel like there's way too much of a red border up on top.
When these box arts initially dropped, I think this was like immediately after the Switch 2 Direct. These looked so garish.
Yes,
they were just like, what? And of course, you know, like at the end of the day, I would like to rank the Mario Kart World box art as the Mario Kart World box art. I don't want to go too hard on it because of the Switch 2 template or anything, because I think the Mario Kart World box art is fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, there's just so much stuff to look at, and it really gives you a nice sense of like there is a lot of exploring to do in this game, which I would say is true, even though the free roam is a little empty feeling, and it's like there's not a lot of incentive to, you know, try to complete all the P-Switch stuff, but I've been trying to come up with my thoughts on the game. I do like the free roam mode. I think the missions are really cool. I like it. I just wish
there was a little more. It feels like there's one thing missing.
It needed boss battles. It needed boss battles as well as better incentives to unlock characters, because to unlock the NPCs in the game, you have to get the Kamek Orb, and you just have to pray you get a brand new NPC. And there are ways to like strategically kind of unlock NPC characters, but like Nintendo has this huge free roam mode. Literally just all they had to do was make these characters unlockable by doing the missions. It's super, I don't understand. Like,
it's just kind of like, I feel like there's something missing linking a lot of this together, you know, that makes more coherent sense, where it's just like you're saying, you have this free roam mode, you can put a lot of these things as unlockables in the free roam mode, but instead they're tied to, NPC characters tied to Kamek, costumes tied to Dash Food. And it's just like,
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just like it's like they got so excited about certain things that they didn't like at the end like tie everything all together and make things make a little more sense. It works, but it's just like I just feel like there's like one or two things missing to like make this super coherent.
Yeah, it just needs a couple of quality of life changes. Like there should have been a better way to unlock the characters just through the missions, just beating like maybe like really hard ones or something. And then the mini-map really needed a way to show you what P-switches and coins you've already completed. Like, I digress. That has nothing to do with the box art. I mean, for me, this, even with the weird red border, this is an A or an S. I think this is really fantastic.
Yeah, it's I think you can make the argument it's very busy, but I think that's the whole point. They're trying to convey that, like, look at all the different characters in the game.
Right.
Look at the giant world, and I think that conveys it very well. And even far away, you can instantly see, oh, it's Mario Kart World. Mario is front and center. You can tell there's all these different Mario characters in the back. I think that all works very well. Now, the Switch 2 box art, I've warmed up to it. I will say, getting it in person.
It looks better in person, especially because, like, I'm gonna put this in low S, by the way, but in person, just because it's a little bit bigger and the spines are also colorful again, like they used to be for most Nintendo consoles. Honestly, is really nice. Like, I've got 3 Switch 2 games on the shelf. I probably won't get any more physicals, but I put them next to the Switch 1 games, and they just look like 10 times better.
Yeah, the Switch 1 is interesting because I think it's cute or cool that, like, oh, all the spines are red and they all follow. Most of them follow the exact same font. But at the same time, like, if you're looking at them from a distance, it's like you can't see the games. I do think as much as the consistency is very cool with Switch, I think it is good that they swapped over to unique game spines. I don't like that the 2 is just next to the original Switch logo, and on the bottom it just still says Nintendo Switch. I'm like, okay, well, buddy, put a 2 at that logo at the least. Like,
it is like, bizarre the way that they put it together. Like, it works, but I think they could have done a better job with that. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you on, like, at first I really did not like it that much, but it's in person. It really does kind of work. Okay, let's see what we have next. So we're going back to the NES. And let's see what it is. We have Super Mario Bros. 2. This is the Brazilian box art specifically. And I actually think this is fantastic. It is very good. Really visually just engaging to look at. There's a lot going on here. We got Mario throwing a turnip at the Shy Guys. You can actually see one bounce off a Shy Guy, which is kind of funny. I got Wart on the box, which is cool. Toad climbing up a vine, which actually is a pretty big part of the game. You do a lot of vine climbing, and it's just super colorful. I love it. This is honestly one of my favorite box arts from, like, the I guess, like, the 80s era.
I think it's interesting. I think this is an exact basically a redrawing of the Doki Doki Panic rebox, but with Mario characters in place, I believe.
I did not even check that.
Yeah.
So it's basically the same. That's kind of cool that they did that.
Yeah. But way better than the US version.
Yes.
Where it's Mario. First up, Mario in the US version. I just pulled it up. I'm like, for some reason, when I think of Mario in the Mario 2 box art for the US, he looks like he's been blowing his nose a lot or something. Like, he's just like, and I'm colorblind, so to me, he looks kind of like very red in the face or something. I think this one shows off all the characters. You get actual elements from the game, which I think is cool. I would put this in ARS.
For me, I think this is our best one so far. Personally.
Yeah, I think it's so cool how much, like, the 2D Mario art was pretty, like, set in stone from the beginning.
Yeah.
This art looks fairly modern, all things considered.
Yeah, and that is actually I did not realize that it was basically the same as the Doki Doki Panic art. That's really cool. Okay, so next we have some European art, and this is Super Mario Ball, or of course Mario Pinball Land, as most of us know it. It's pretty similar to the American box art. I just thought it was kind of funny that they just called it Super Mario Ball, and they even have Mario's little face as the O here.
I think it's a weird name for the game because that almost implies it's a mainline game.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, it's like Super Mario World, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Ball, like, I think Mario Pinball Land is a better title. I think it conveys what it is a little better. You know, I mean, we can talk about the quality of the game itself, and it's not very good.
Let's not. That game's awful.
The box art, I like the box art a lot. I think it's very dynamic. I like the style that they have going for the Mario Ball. I think it does a very good job conveying exactly what the game is in a very cool, well done way, even if the game is ass. So I would put it in A tier, honestly.
Yeah, for me, this is probably A tier. So funny to me just how some of this old box art, they make the game look so freaking exciting. I mean, look at this. Mario's popping off of a question mark block, smacking a Koopa, coming back at our face. Like, damn, there's so much going on in here.
Damn. I'm just kind of thinking, you know how Mario Strikers art kind of has that really rough, gritty outline?
Yes.
I kind of get that from like at least like the outline of Mario as the pinball, which I think they're just doing that to convey like a lot of motion. It makes for a much more unique feeling. Say what you want, Mario Pinball Land, it told you exactly what you're gonna get. And
yep,
with
it sure
the box
did.
art and everything, even if it's not very good, it is like, yep, that is what it is.
Great box art. Pretty horrible game. Okay, this game is, well, it's Mario Bros. Deluxe on Game Boy Color. Something that I do kind of find it funny about it is that it says only for Game Boy Color in the corner, while on the left, in huge letters, it also says Game Boy Color, just so you're sure.
It took me a while to figure out like the whole like Game Boy Color compatibility thing of like, you know how like the black cartridges work on both and everything, and
yeah.
But even then, most Game Boy Color games that are the black cartridges that are like, oh, they work on Game Boy and Game Boy Color, you wouldn't know that looking at the box. It just says Game Boy Color.
I feel like the solution is really easy. Like literally just say it out loud. Works for Game Boy Color and Game Boy. Put it on the front or the back. That's all they have to do.
Speaking of this box art, I think this box art is very much like, I like it, but there are elements of it that are kind of weird. The fact that like Bowser is just completely covered up in the background. It's like he's completely covered up by the logo, but also like Peach isn't even kidnapped in the background. She's just hanging out.
Yeah, it is. I think with this one, they took a lot more creative liberties.
Face.
Yeah,
Peach's face also looks kind of weird.
The faces
Look
are...
at Lakitu. Look at Lakitu's face. Holy crap.
Something disturbed him. That's why I love this art. I think they took a lot of creative liberties because they're like, well, this is just Super Mario Bros. Again. But we might as well really try to make it stand out a bit more. So let's hand draw all the characters. You know what? Let's add some color to the logo. I love this logo. I think it is fantastic. My only criticism, I think they went maybe a little heavy on the outer glow here. I think they could have done like a nice drop shadow instead, but like whatever.
Obviously, again, we can critique this box art, and I don't think this box art is like iconic enough to be like an S tier. I would put it in an A tier.
I was gonna say
maybe a B. I think least would be B. Because like we can critique it to high. I mean, like look at Peach's face. Look at a lot of the wackiness on this box art. It's not like it has quality control issues. There are just kind of some funny elements we can critique about it. But I do think like it is such a cool little classic Mario box art that just feels good. I mean, you look at it and it's kind of like it gives you kind of like a good feeling of like, oh yeah, a fun Mario game.
It's a very, very joyous box art, and even though it doesn't necessarily represent the game super well, I still think this is A tier. It's just fun. I'm gonna put it in low A for now. It's actually the first Mario game I ever played was this version of Mario Bros. Deluxe, and I was like 7 or I think I was like 6 or 7 or something. So I have a very fond memory of just seeing this box art like opening up for Christmas. I'm like, whoa, what the heck is this? I will say this, you know, we've gotten a few pretty solid box arts. This next one, I don't know how we're gonna feel about it. This is WarioWare Mega Party Games in Europe.
D.
Yeah, this is a D. It actually kind of hurts my eyes to look at it. I mean,
yellow. Wario likes gold money. Wario's color is yellow. You know, like it's.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. This is just bad.
At the same time, have you seen the Wario World Japanese box art? I think it's supposed to be like, oh man, it's made out of solid gold and Wario's face is on there. That's actually like doing something with like, oh, like kind of a simple one. This is very much like, it's just like a freaking speech bubble where he's saying over 200 minigames. And like, they're not even minigames. Exclamation mark.
They're not even, they're micro games. If you want to call a 3-second game a minigame, that's kind of lying a little bit because it barely counts as a minigame.
I think Mega Party Games is a fun little multiplayer game, but like I do think that game is a little too like beloved sometimes, where I'm just like, guys, it's literally just the Game Boy Advance game ported to GameCube, and the games don't even look very good. Like they're very blurry. Now the multiplayer is fun, but I just find it weird how much that game got pretty decent reviews at the time compared to Mario Party games, which Mario Party games on the GameCube at the time were often just like raked through the coals. Like reviewers were like, this is dumb. It's the same thing again. Oh my God. And then WarioWare Mega Party Games is like, oh, this is cool. I'm just like, it's the Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, no, this is easy D tier. I saw this. I'm just like, good Lord, I can't believe this is real box art. I'm gonna say this is the worst one so far. So this next one I find to be kind of ominous. So it's gonna be pretty familiar. This is Luigi's Mansion on 3DS, the Japanese version. However, no ghosts in the background.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of creepy.
So we have the new render of Luigi, which is super ultra detailed. I think this render of Luigi is more detailed than the render of Luigi on the Luigi's Mansion 3 box art. I honestly think this works a lot better because the North American 3DS Luigi's Mansion box art, the background is the same as the GameCube game. Luigi is the only thing that's new. And I think this works much better because like it's all new, even if the background is completely black.
I don't know what it is. There's something that just feels really isolating about Luigi being in pure darkness, looking terrified, and you can't see anything that's behind him. I think this is just scarier. Seeing the ghost is like a really nice way to kind of like fill in the darkness. But here, the fact that everyone already knows what the game is, there's just nothing there.
I believe this is probably the same as the original Japanese box art for GameCube. Yeah, it's the same. So like that's the thing. Like they mimic the Japanese GameCube box art with this one, and then they mimic the other like North American one. I wouldn't say this is S tier because it is literally just
it's just darkness. It's not S tier. I would say this is like low A or high B if I had to pick.
I put it in high B. I like it.
I think what I really like about it is it really forces you to use your imagination. Especially if you've never played, it's just like, why is Luigi so scared and like, what's going on? So next we have one I've heard some people complain about in the past, but it's something I never really thought about the criticism until really looking at it recently. This is Mario Kart Wii. So everyone already knows what Mario Kart is. You really don't have to get that crazy necessarily with the box art, but this is literally a white background. Mario and Luigi are just chilling there, using the Wii wheels. Okay, you can use the Wii wheel, cool, but that's it. There's nothing else happening.
Well, when I was a kid, I remember thinking Mario Kart Wii was going to be super cool because what was so compelling about the original Wii was how it was like, oh wow, it's so immersive, in quotes, like it was like, oh wow, Wii Sports, I can play bowling at home whenever I want, blah, 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 stuff like that. The Wii wheel was a pretty genius marketing tactic where, oh wow, I can put my Wii remote in the wheel and now I can drive.
It feels like actual driving, yeah.
But that's just the thing, like, I mean, Mario Kart Wii is a pretty vanilla, it's a pretty vanilla personality game in terms of like, it's not really like how, Double Dash kind of had like its own thing going on. Wii was just like a good Mario Kart. It's an iconic box art. I think it did well.
Well, yeah, the game sold crazy well, yeah.
I would say, I also don't like this actual box art, like with the actual game case. I feel like this art was far better formatted for the square box that came with a Wii wheel with the game. This one just feels cropped and kind of like stretched a little bit. I don't know.
There's like too much white space. Like it is composed well. Like Luigi and Mario are kind of like right below the blue circle. So in a sense, it does kind of work. But then like the right side, there's just like nothing happening. There's nothing to really focus on. Like the only focus is supposed to just be Mario and Luigi with them holding the wheels. I don't know. I think they could have made it a little more exciting. They could have showed off, hey, we have bikes in this game, because the bikes that was a really big deal back then.
Yeah, but what would that look on as a shadow?
Yeah, I mean, it would look a little funky. They would have to kind of change the idea.
They're also trying to really push the wheel. Man, why didn't they have handlebars? They could have. That would have been really funny, actually.
They could have done that. That would have been really easy. That would have been probably less plastic.
Yeah, I mean, like iconic box art, like not iconic in the same way that a lot of these others are iconic, but I would honestly put this in.
This is like B, maybe high C at the worst. I would say low B.
I would say it's better than that damn Mario's Picross box art, but like, I also don't believe Mario's Picross should be in B. I think these feel like C to me, but it's up to you here. If you want to put this in B too,
well,
then do that in B.
This is our list. I'm trying to find a middle ground here, so I think maybe like a low B would probably be okay. maybe like at the end we'll push it down.
Mario Kart Wii. I think Mario Kart Wii belongs in B. I think Mario's Picross belongs in C. But it's just Mario thinking.
Yeah, but it's sick box art.
It's so cool. I love Mario.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, when you spend so much time playing Mario games and he just doesn't emote or isn't expressive at all, there's something special about seeing official box art where he's actually expressing himself. He's thinking really hard about how to finish that Picross. All right, so this next one, I don't know how we're gonna feel about it, but got a little bit of Mario 3D Land. It's a special version of it. It's the Nintendo Selects version.
Yeah.
It's a little crowded.
Mario 3D Land. That's the thing. During this era, I guess this Nintendo is kind of pushing white backdrops a lot.
Yes, which is more common in Japan. And I guess they were trying to bring that a little bit more to the States, because of the States, they were going with the more colorful backgrounds for a while. Not talking about the white, I like the perspective of this one. It actually does a really great job showcasing what the game is, because there's all those different parts in 3D Land where you can like switch like to a different like angle in 3D. And I think the way that everything is kind of like tilted a little bit. And of course, you know, they're showing off the Tanuki Leaf, and a really big power up in the game. I think the art itself does a perfect job at explaining what the game is. It is a 3D platformer. You got the Tanuki Leaf, it's back. Even the characters or the enemies have little leaves or little tails now, and yeah, I think it does its job well.
I couldn't really imagine this box art being much different or better. I don't actually mind Nintendo Selects that much. It's mostly the player's choice crap I have a problem with. I hate that yellow spine on the GameCube. Now, this one it definitely takes up more space, which I think is annoying, like on the actual box art. But at least like the spine only has like a little gold medallion on it.
It almost makes it feel more premium because of that. I mean, that's fine. I guess the only issue with the Nintendo Selects, I'd probably put this in A tier if I just had the regular box, like low A. I think just the red border, even though the point is to showcase, yes, this is a cheaper version, it is a different version. It's a really, really thick border, and I don't think they needed to do that. Maybe they could have made it look a little less obtrusive.
I feel like that's almost the point. I think Nintendo does design them to be kind of annoying.
Yeah. Next, some more Super Mario World, but it's in a very different region. This is the French one, and I don't know how I feel about this one. I mean,
I think I like it better than the North American one.
It is. So here's the thing. I love the artwork in this one. The fact they have like all these different characters kind of surrounding the globe. It really does feel like a big world. That's great. Really, my only problem is the background. It's just an ugly red, and I don't think it clashes very well with any of the artwork.
I do think it's cool that, you know, it is, you know, like, you know, Nintendo is red, Mario is red,
sure,
you know, kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
I think red works. I feel like this one could be adjusted quite a bit. I think in Japan, it's a yellow background, which I think works fairly well, just because like I associate the color yellow with Mario World because of the cape a lot. But I do like this a lot better than the North American one. The North American one is just kind of like a very just kind of boring blue. It's a satisfying blue. And you kind of have the blue of like the world there. But I do think it's cool that like you have that glow because it's Mario World.
Right,
and I think that does a good job showcasing what sets this apart from Mario 3.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it being the background focus being red. I just think they could have done it a better way, like add maybe a gradient or something, or have like an actual background but have it be like tinted red.
You know, overall, I kind of like it. I would probably do B.
That's what I was thinking.
One.
I don't know where exactly. Maybe somewhere in the middle.
Put that Mario's Picross at the bottom of B. If you're gonna leave it in B, it's at the bottom.
I will leave it in B. I promise.
I think it's neat.
Dude,
Mario's
look at
face.
him. He looks. I just like him.
He looks
so
cool.
He sure does. Okay, we've got. You know, let's go back to Mario Sports. This one is Mario Power Tennis, but it's the Japanese one.
I don't mind this one. However, I will say feels more like a magazine advertisement than a box art.
I find
even just with the little tagline that says
that's what I was going to point out. I find that to be kind of amusing. They just randomly have the smash it up just like right in the middle. I think it really undersells it. That's my problem with it, because like Mario Power Tennis is, at least to me, still probably the best Mario Tennis game that you can play. It really feels like the most full tennis game, and then here it just looks like it could be Mario Tennis on N64 or something.
Could be any Mario Tennis game. I think that's the main thing. I don't know. Yeah, just weird. I mean, like, it's not bad, but again, it feels more like I'd put it at bottom of B, to be honest.
I'll put it, let's throw it, let's do like high C. I think we'll do that. You know, the more...
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like composed well and all of that. But even then, like the tennis ball is such a small focus.
Yeah.
You barely even see it. It's cut off.
Yeah, which is kind of, this is a 2000s Mario game. They wanted him looking hip and cool. Yeah,
Badass.
Exactly. He's just like, hey, let me smack this ball. Boom. And you get the money shot.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we have next. Oh yeah, this one was honestly pretty amusing. I had no idea this existed. So we've all seen this box art, but it has one extra detail to it. This is Super Mario Sunshine, but it is the Kmart edition. And apparently, if you bought it at Kmart, you can get the player's guide with it. And yeah.
You know, I don't understand when stuff like this is genuinely like printed on the box art.
Right, it's like with the Chibi Robo with the Walmart.
Wouldn't it have been easier to do a sticker? Especially for this, where it's just like, what, you have to ship to Kmart specifically printed versions of the game. Because like, it's not even like it comes with a bundle. You 100% just get the player's guide over the counter or something, like when you buy the game. What are these? What is the text surrounding
Has
him?
more moves than ever you'll water in the sunshine.
What is it?
I don't know. It's a mystery. You know, it would have been really funny if I just noticed this little Mario Sunshine Prima guide. It would have been great if they also had a little Kmart sticker right here. Then it just feels like a Kmart sticker inception.
Never-ending loop.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think this is one of the only Mario logo, well, one of the few Mario logos that's not like colorful, but what I find really interesting about it is that it goes with like an actual like sky and sea gradient in the font itself, and it's actually really legible. Like whoever put together this logo was extremely talented because it's striking, it stands out, it's very legible, and you know,
still feels like Mario.
Yeah, it still feels like Mario, and even though you don't really see any of the levels in the game per se, you get a perfect idea of what this is. This is a very, you know, you got the flood pack. Mario's already wearing that, of course. It's a huge part of the game.
I think A makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like it.
All right, so this is one we've all seen a million times, and actually, oh, never mind. That's coming up.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that seems like a weird one to be like, we all know this
Okay,
one.
I got a list on my left. I misread. Yeah, so of course Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Now
Family Tour. Japan,
yes. The reason
I never heard that Japanese.
Well, the reason I picked this was it is very similar to the American art, but they made Mario like 20 times bigger, and they added all this weird blur to like the sky and the grass. And the only thing
it's POV. You're the ball, right?
I guess so. Mario's about to smack the shit out of you. That's what's happening here.
Because like the original, the North American one is the exact same render of Mario, but this one, I feel like they're adding way more like blur, like directional blur. You are the ball, and I think it's just a little more striking this way. Yeah, it feels like a more cinematic version of Mario Golf. Yeah, you can make the argument this could be for any Mario Golf game, but I like this one. I'd say high B, low A.
That's where I was thinking, honestly, let's do low A. Yep.
I like it.
Now, this one we've seen a lot. New Super Mario Bros. I was thinking about picking a different region, but like honestly, all the regions were very, very similar. And I kind of figured we might as well have at least one of these. I think out of all the New Super Mario Bros. Box art, this is probably the most interesting one.
I think my biggest problem with this box art is that it is obviously just kind of photoshopped together. Look at that Goomba on the ground.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
The ground is just like on top of him, and then like even then like you have the Koopa on top of the pipe. It all just kind of feels like you're taking stock Mario art that was probably made for New Super Mario Brothers. I think this does a perfect job explaining everything this game is.
It gets the message across really, really well, especially because when this game came out, it had been like over 10 years since we had gotten a 2D Mario game.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah, this, I remember Mario World and Mario Bros. 3. This is the same thing, but the graphics are a lot better. In terms of the actual style, it is pretty close to the actual game.
Yeah, I think it shows that this is a 2D side-scrolling Mario game. It shows that, but things are a little different now. Things are new. We're doing things that we haven't done before, like, Mario with the Mega Mushroom.
It is extremely competent art. This is probably the most average box art that I have out of here. Not spectacular, but not horrible.
It's very average, but it does its job. It does its job very well. I would give it a high B.
I think it's a B as well.
It's not bad.
That's why we got it right in the middle. It does the job perfectly well, even though it's not like fantastic. And on to our next one, we've got another pretty familiar one, Super Mario Odyssey. And I really like this art a lot. There's a lot that's great about it. I mean, the logo is absolutely fantastic. It stands out a lot. It has the same kind of like iconic colors for Mario, although it replaces the O with a globe, which is pretty smart considering we use the Odyssey to travel around the game. And then this really great shot of Mario throwing Cappy, just awesome. Something I have found kind of interesting, which I honestly didn't really pay attention to until getting this this image, is the background is kind of just like snapshots of the game. Like, not necessarily, a lot of it is like imposed in certain ways. Like they have the T-Rex in New Donk City, which you can't even do. That's one thing I love about the box art. It showcases everything about the game that's new. You can play as a T-Rex, you can stack the Goombas, and then there's even different photos of Mario Explore. We got the Chef Mario, the swimming Mario. So it does a lot, but if you really look at the background, maybe some could perceive it as maybe it's a little cluttered, it's a tiny bit distracting, but at the same time, they also manage to take all these photos and they add the white crop around them, and it just kind of meshes together somehow. I think I would put this pretty high up there.
Yeah. I think, going from the Wii U era onward, I think Nintendo is usually they put out some of the best box arts. I love a lot of the box arts they put out in their HD era. It feels like a little scrapbook. It feels like this is like a big journey kind of thing. I really like this box art. I would put it in high A.
I would say,
maybe even
yeah,
low
that's what I was
S,
going to say too, because this is one of the few box arts where it has, if you just look at the background on its own, it is pretty distracting, but the way they've composed it all together, it just works really well. And I also kind of love this little yellowy swirl too. It's great. I mean, I think we could probably put it low S.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay,
one.
so here I have, it's not super crazy. We got a little bit of Super Mario Advance. However, this is the European version, and it is slightly different from all the other ones in the fact that it literally tells you what the games are. It says Super Mario Bros. 2 and Mario Bros. Right on the box. It does not say this in the other versions, and it also includes that you can, hook this up. You can use one cartridge and play with 4 different people.
All these Mario Advance games are like, we have multiplayer, and the multiplayer is always just Mario
it's
Brothers.
not what people really would want to do, exactly.
I always found this logo interesting, how it's like this weird, almost like all these items from Mario 2 just fell onto the logo. Like, the door is just slanted there. You got Birdo there and a bomb. I prefer Japanese. This one, I'm I'd give it a high C.
Okay, you know what we'll do? I agree with high C. I think that's probably fine. Okay, so this one, I guess it's not really a Mario game, but it's close enough. Super Princess Peach. This is such a weird one. Just because the logo itself, it's got a gradient to it, and it's legible, but it's maybe a little hard to read from far away. I really like the artwork of Peach. I think it looks really nice, but doesn't really tell you anything about the game itself. It doesn't show off her Vibe Scepter powers. And then there's a picture of Mario tied up from a hammer, bro.
It's weird, and it honestly looks more like Peach is dreaming of it.
Yeah, it's the way that
it looks like she's almost.
It's right next to her head.
It just looks like something that somebody kind of drew. And it just appeared online.
I mean, the whole game kind of feels like fan art. It's just such a weird, surreal video game to play just in general. I wouldn't say dreaming. She's thinking of Mario because she has to rescue him. I guess that's kind of the point.
Yeah, but even then, she doesn't look very determined. She kind of looks like, oh God.
Like, oh, I got to put up with him.
happened. But this one I would put in C.
Yeah, I was thinking we'll put it right below Mario Advance. Okay, this one, okay, this might be another S tier. I love this one. Super Mario Galaxy. I mean, my God, just what? I actually, I had a big old Mario Galaxy poster that was this. And God, it is just freaking awesome. It shows Mario flying through the sky. You got the Luma. You can see a bunch of the different galaxies. You can even see a black hole. And I just love how just like inviting and powerful the logo looks.
Yeah, you know what? I like this box art a lot. I like Mario Galaxy 2.
That one's also really good.
I think Mario...
Yeah.
I almost kind of want Mario to be bigger on the Mario Galaxy box art. Just because, like, I don't know, it's always like the Luma is a big part of Mario Galaxy 1, but it's almost like you almost have to remember, like, oh yeah, the Luma's in his hat kind of thing. But I'm not being biased. I would say Mario Galaxy 2's is better, but I think this one is pretty up there.
Definitely S.
Makes
sense.
I
guess like my only nitpick is he does feel a little small, but I also don't mind it because you kind of get like an even amount of focus on the logo itself, seeing the planet. Really noticing like this like stream of him like actually launching from a launch star. I think if they made him too big, it would have been kind of hard to really tell like that he is flying. So the fact that they composed him like this, I think it's just really cool. So yeah, let's give this
what was the temp box? I remember the temp box art is like Mario. Yeah, it was this one, right? Oh my God. Sorry, making this a nightmare for the
That's okay. No worries.
It's this one. That is some Mario Tennis Ultra Smash ass box.
Okay, I will admit that one's not great. I kind of forgot that image existed. Let's go back to a different country. Now hop back into Wii U world. This is Super Mario Maker on the Wii U.
I don't think this works. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't like this at all. Like, I get the idea. It's like, whoa, look at all these different things you can add, but like, it really doesn't show
checkerboard pattern.
I don't. It's just the yellow. There's too much yellow on it. It's the same as like the Warioware. It's just like yellow is a core part of the game itself. Like, it's in the menus, but like, you don't have to make it the core color.
I thought for a second they were all jumbled up kind of thing, but no, it's all a pattern. Like the piranha plant is in the exact same place, and like it is like each quadrant is each like style. I thought for a second, like looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's all the styles jumbled up. Like, no, it's
Mario
just
Bros. 1 down to well, oh yeah, you're right. It is. I just noticed that. Yeah, Mario 1, 3 World, and then New Soup.
Like Lakitu's in the same spot every time. It's a little kind of New Super Mario Brothers-esque. There's not a ton of like artistic, like whatever vision here other than like, let's convey exactly what the game is in an aesthetically
I don't even think it
way.
really conveys the game that well. Like, yeah, there's the word Super Mario Maker, sure, but what I like at least about like the American version is that it does have the hand with the stylus, and it has the pipe like, you know, tilted on its side. It's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, I can just make these level. But here, this is just sprites. That's it.
I get they're trying to go for more of like an artistic, like, oh, let's do something kind of cool graphic design-wise, but I don't even think it.
I think this is D tier. You ask me. Like, this is pretty much like what's inside the art book. It's just a bunch of like random sprites that are zoomed in. Okay, so actually this next one, we brought it up a little bit earlier. It is Mario Strikers Charged Football, so it's the European version. And this is definitely one of my favorites, for sure. This is
S tier. It does everything. It gives you the
easy S tier. Honestly, I think my favorite part of this is just how like furious Bowser looks. It almost looks like he has a goatee. This just looks very dangerous, and that is kind of what the game is like. It's extremely hectic and intense. So yeah, I mean, this pretty easy S tier.
Yeah, you know, I think it would be cool if Mario Strikers actually like in game looked like the art.
Yeah, and yeah, this one we've also talked about this box art very briefly. It is just the Super Mario Bros. 3 yellow background. Mario's flying.
Iconic.
It is iconic. That's the thing. That's the problem. It's like, it's so iconic, but like trying to look at it objectively is just like, man, there is really not much going on here. I will say at least the color of the logo and the background actually mesh well together.
There is something to say about simplicity. Sometimes less is more. And like when we look at the Japanese box art for Mario 3, you still have that same like pose, you still have that same illustration, but you have like you know, a more of a background thing. You see like all the Koopalings and, you know, Bowser in the background and, you know, Luigi, you know, and everything, you know, like, and that's great and everything, but I do kind of feel like the Mario 3 box art in North America is more striking.
Just the simplicity.
You're just kind of like, bam.
And something else I will say too, it is a very confident box art because it's willing to say the biggest, most exciting Mario Bros. Adventure yet. It's like a marketing thing you see all the time, the biggest, best thing ever, but you don't really see it that often. You don't see it in Mario games. Even nowadays, you don't really see that. Here, they're just like, we went from Mario Bros. 1 to this in like 4 years. This game is awesome. And I agree, like it's still incredible how much they improved and evolved Mario in such a short amount of time. So
look at Warioware. That is a boring ass box art because of the yellow, but Mario 3 in my head is so ingrained with that blue-yellow combo because I don't know what they were thinking.
See, I think the issue also is that there's the Only 4 and the GameCube at the top that is also yellow, and I think it just... If they made the WarioWare box art as simplistic as this, maybe it would be better. It would have kind of worked. Like here, I would say it's definitely not the best box art of all time, but it is just so striking.
I'd honestly put it in A.
A? I would say...
you know, like it's just... It's so iconic, and like, and it's iconic to a point where it's like, it's not like, oh, like simple is good sometimes.
This one, incredible. My God, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I mean, they do a really great job, like splitting off, just showing both the different modes, or not modes, both the different games, really. Like 3D World, it kind of takes elements from like the Wii U box art and like condenses it together really nicely. And then Bowser's Fury, where the focus really is Fury Bowser. And you can still see Bowser Jr. and Mario in there, but the focus, of course, it's all about Fury Bowser.
I like it. And, you know, obviously they had to change some things around in the Switch one. Bowser's Fury key art is incredible.
It's so good.
I would say potentially just the fact that, like, you know, you have to split the art sort of, you know, it might be a little too busy. You know, there might be something to say about like, you know, the original Wii U 3D World box art felt a little more complete, but I would put this in A tier.
Yeah, I think this is definitely an A tier.
I think Bowser's Fury has incredible art.
So yeah, I'd probably say this is a high A, but would I play it over Super Mario Ball? I don't know.
Okay, Mario Ball, yeah, sure, the box art look...
Or would I pick it over Super Mario Ball?
Just the fact that as art pieces, 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is definitely a marketing kind of thing. Either of them separately as a poster would work, you know? But if we're looking at the box art as a whole, I think Mario Ball is still better.
I would say it's slightly better.
I think it's better than Mario Deluxe, and
it definitely is better than those ones.
I think it's better than Mario Deluxe.
Especially because like with Mario Bros. Deluxe, I mean, it's really not showing you the game necessarily. While this one, it's exciting and it actually shows what's happening. So we only have a few more. We've got I believe our last Japanese one, and this is Super Mario Maker for 3DS, and it is actually pretty similar to the American one, although what I found kind of unique about, well, I guess really the main difference is that Mario's much closer up, and he takes up a lot of the screen, which is kind of weird, but, you know, the Builder Mario, I think was, you know, it's a pretty big part of the game. It's on the title screen and stuff. Compared to the other Mario Maker one that we saw, it actually has a stylus, and it shows all the weird combinations you can make. You know, Wing Bowser, throw a spiny helmet on Mario, throw an egg on a cloud. Why the hell not, right?
I think this is better than the original Wii U one, and I think this is better than the one that we got in North America.
I think so too.
Because
like a little bit better.
With how much smaller the 3DS box art is, I like that they made Mario bigger, and it's just his head. And I think it works, you know, and I do think it's interesting that all the Mario Maker box arts, they use different like Mario styles. I think this is a better box art than the Wii U original.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's
I mean, like, especially compared to the one that we ranked, but I'm even talking about the North American Wii U one. Like, I like this better. I like that it's formatted properly, and they made new art for the new Super Mario Brothers U style. Yeah,
I think probably like low A is probably pretty good. Yeah. Next, we got Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and this one is honestly kind of different. Like 50% of the box art is just like white space and the other 50% is the actual game, but they managed to cram in so many unique elements for Mario Bros. Wonder. And we'll talk about the logo in a second, but I like that they show off, you know, I forgot what the caterpillar is called. He's got a name. Elephant Mario.
Prince
Florian, that's right. Oh,
Prince
how could I forget? Oh my god.
I bet you 100% of this game too.
I did. I 100% it twice. I think something that is kind of cool about this box art though is that the entire box kind of represents what the Wonder Flower is. It just does weird shit to the level. And here we have a box art where it's like, oh, this game is like all melted. It almost looks like it's like literally melted onto the box itself. And yeah, I think it's just it's kind of neat that like they managed to kind of incorporate the Wonder Flower's idea into the literal art of the box art.
I didn't realize how much of it is white space. Like I remember there was white space, but like honestly,
it's
looking at this image, it's a lot of white space.
Trying to be minimalist? I mean, possibly.
Still, like, you still see, like, the level, but, like, in the Wonder Flower cloud, it's, like, completely different or something. So you can see the transition or something.
He's in the void. That's the Wonder effect. He's in a void now.
I would honestly put it in B.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking about it.
I kind of like it a little bit more than Mario Bros. 3, but I also, like, get what you're saying the same time, so let's just leave it right there for now.
I think it would have been cool if they even like warped the Super Mario Brothers logo. You could have used the same logo, but even just have that kind of like go on that like wiggly
that would have been
that the Wonder
I think they could have made
did.
that work. Yeah, because the logo's basic enough.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
like
they
look
could have
at
done
the yeah, I mean, look at the Mario Kart World logo. Like the Mario Kart logo is still like the same like traditional Mario Kart logo we've seen for years, but they made it like a lot more like, you know, like jut to the side, kind of italicized version. They could have just, you know, made the Super Mario Brothers logo a little more wiggly.
It is weird, which I guess is intentional. The whole game is a little bit weird. Now, speaking of white space, the rest of the last two I have here has a lot of white space. But they both have, both of them are pretty different in design.
There's some Mario RPG-esque box art. Is it Mario RPG
sure is.
one of them?
It is. Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. I gotta say, I'm really not a big fan of this one. It really does not tell you at all what the game is like, outside of the fact that Bowser's pretty prominent. So, you know, in the actual, I don't know if you played this one. I don't really play RPGs, but this is probably my favorite Mario and Luigi game just because you literally go inside of Bowser, and that's like half of the game. You'll spend time playing as Bowser, and then you spend time tiny as Mario and Luigi, like inside like his literal body. So it's extremely unique. They don't really show any of that here. They go for a very basic, like just a white background. That's it. You see Mario and Luigi. You even see them hanging out right here, and then you see Bowser and Starlo.
The Mario and Luigi box arts, I have respect for them because at least starting in Japan, they all follow this general format. Here in North America, like it's a little more all over the place. You know, Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga, and Partners in Time all have very dynamic box art. You know, Superstar Saga's North American box art reminds me of Mario Brothers Deluxe.
It is very similar.
Like with them both running towards. Yeah. But then they transitioned over with this one to mimic how the games look in Japan. Like they all follow Mario and Luigi standing there by the logo. And I think that's cute, but at the same time, just seeing how cool this box art could be. Like, I don't know. When I look at like the Bowser's Minions, like the 3DS remake box art for Superstar Saga, and it's just this, and it's obviously following the format, but
they spruced it up a lot.
They make they make Mario and Luigi much bigger. But and I'm like, okay, whatever. But then you look at the European box art, and oh my god,
wow, that is sick. See, they could have done something like that for this. That does such a better job at showing the excitement of that game.
That's my thing, man. Like Mario and Luigi box art, I think it's cool that it follows this tradition. God, like look at the potential.
So, there's just nothing. For me, this is like a low C.
Like it's better put together and like it's iconic.
I don't know. I think these are.
Now what I don't like is the Bowser's. It's the 3DS remake box art, which is basically the exact same thing.
Yeah, I almost picked that one. I was like, it'd be kind of funny to pick the 3DS one. But all right, and now for our last one, Super Mario RPG.
D?
Okay, so I was gonna ask. I think it's
But-
this is why I wanted to. This is why I wanted to end on this, because this one was really decisive. I remember when it was when the box art was like finally revealed online. It was a very polar extremes on the opinions. Like, oh, they're referencing how it looked on the SNES Japanese,
it's cute,
but also,
yeah.
wow, this is bland and boring.
The thing is, that box art was horizontal. So you had all the characters lined up that way. You had enough room for Yoshi too.
Yep.
I mean, like, I'd even say, I know, like, a lot of this is kind of trying to be like, let's do the original Japanese versions. But I would say the North American one is more dynamic, because it's just using these static poses of the characters. They're all lined up on white. I don't care. I would probably
say,
put it in C.
Yeah, I was gonna say C2, because I mean, at first I was like, oh, this is really cool that they're referencing the Japanese box art. But then when you really look at it, I mean, like you said, they're just standing there. They're not doing anything interesting, and they really could have spruced it up like they did with the 3DS Superstar Saga box, adding more characters on the sides, or maybe like including like some sort of like really light translucent version of the castle in HD. Just because the whole thing is remade, it would have been cool to see like an HD background.
Or it would have been cool to see the characters actually in like more dynamic poses, like working with each other. Like I would
say
it in
it's either right above or right below. I'm actually gonna put it right below, just because at least with the Mario and Luigi one, they have like actual like expressions. Like Luigi's kind of like cowering away from Bowser, you know, staring at him angrily. Here they're all just kind of standing together, even though I really do like the chibi art style in this game. I think it's absolutely adorable, and you know, this is probably one of my favorite RPGs that Nintendo's made. Well, at least one of my favorite Mario RPGs. They did a great job with the remake. Well, I think we're basically done. I'm pretty happy with the list. The only thing I would change is move Mario Picross to S, but you know what? I'll keep it in B.
You're just such a freak.